Hi. I got a haircut today, so I actually did something with my hair, which, okay, hang on a second. Take one. Hi. I'm concerned that this is too dark. Okay. Today is June 29th, and this is an agoraphobic diary, and today is the first day I have been, well, this is the day I have been out of the house the most number of hours. This morning, my mom and I took my dogs for a walk in the cul-de-sac, so that ended up being about 20 minutes, and then my mom and I did my mom did some gardening. I went over and talked to my neighbors, and then my dad came over and we went and did some errands, and my dad actually gave me a bunch of his magazines, and this is the one I'm reading right now, Scientific American. It's from February this year, and the cover article, actually, Building Blocks of Memory, I was able to read about a third of the article. And one of the things that was really interesting is that studies have been able to be done where we're imaging people's brains and triggering memories, and seeing that our brains do seem to organize information kind of like computers, only storing information in specific neurons. So some years ago, Gabriel Kreeman, a faculty member at Harvard Medical University, Leela Reddy, a researcher at the Brain and Cognition Research Center in Toulouse, France, they performed experiments that led to the discovery of a neuron in the hippocampus of one patient, a brain region known to be involved in memory process, that responded very strongly to different photographs of actress Jennifer Aniston. But not to dozens of other celebrities, places, animals, blah blah blah. In another patient, a neuron in the hippocampus lit up at the sight of pictures of actress Halle Berry, and even to just her name written on the computer screen, but no other information. Another neuron fired selectively to pictures of Oprah Winfrey and to her name written on the screen, or spoken by a computer-synthesized voice, interestingly. Another fired to pictures of Luke Skywalker and his written and spoken name, blah blah blah. This is actually quite interesting because I guess this is actually more agoraphobic philosopher than agoraphobic diaries. The first part was a diary, now I'm flipping into the philosopher mode. So what that suggests is that basically our brains encode specific information in specific locations so that at later times when we recall it, we can put it together. Now, memories are comprised of our entire experience of events. Sights, sounds, hearing, smells, feelings, tactile. We do seem to... smell is actually one of the strongest emotions with memory, and a lot of it has to do with smells are associated with taste. So I mean, all of the sensory data that our different organs of our bodies are collect and process and transfer into cognitive information in our brains would appear then to be hard-coded by experience and shaped by our interest and I mean, you know, if someone hasn't heard of Jennifer Aniston, they're not going to have the, you know, the Jennifer Aniston neuron. You know, it's got to do with what we're interested in. And so, in a way, it's really not surprising to me that when and I'm slipping in a little bit into now raw recovery specialist in my mind, it's not a surprise to me that when I experienced the collapse, the cognitive collapse on June 10th, 2010, which I will say the date, but I generally then say deleted evil backstory in order to avoid triggering the memories of that particular event. And basically I lost all sense of myself as a person. And the one person I knew as well as myself was Elvis Presley. As anybody who's been following me on Facebook or my blog knows, and early subscribers to my YouTube channel will know, because actually I used to have a lot of videos of an Elvis impersonator who I used to go to shows and take pictures, because it let me sort of have my fantasy of, you know, photographing Elvis. In any event, he became an important guide for my recovery process to not follow in his footsteps and do what he did. It was very disturbing to me when Dr. Nick put out his book, and, you know, trying to create any reason other than, you know, him being the main prescriber of drugs to Elvis. And doctors bending rules like, oh, well, most of those drugs I knew was for his entourage, so they had medicine on supply. Well, you know, it's not the doctor's job to... Doctors aren't allowed to prescribe pills that aren't for the person they're seeing. Anyway, so Elvis's life story has always been an inspiration, and it, you know, he really stands for a lot of things. You know, coming up from the social economic class that he did, and the social impact that he had of, you know, ending the segregation of music and ending the segregation of audiences, and then, you know, to have changed music and in some ways changed Hollywood with his, he was the first actor to actually get a piece of the box office, and that's now a standard, and you know, following his career path of, you know, increasing successes and artistic achievement, and then being forced to become a parody of himself in many ways, and finally just ending up being so disillusioned with the career and the people around him, basically dying through depression-driven self-neglect. And I had to go see my doctor on the 27th, and I was very pleased to be able to report to her that while the suicidal ideation has not gone away, that I now no longer have a plan, and I now no longer have the means in the house. And a big part of that is having gone vegetarian and lost 155 pounds since February 2012. I've lost 155 pounds, partly through changing to a raw food vegetarian diet, and partly from depression of just simply, despite knowing that the physical indicators in my body of stomach growling and hunger pangs, it is difficult for me to actually eat. A little bit of that is the challenge of no longer being willing to consume the same foods that I had because I know they're not good for me, and the foods that used to be comfort foods to me are no longer within the realm of foods that I'm comfortable eating. And I had actually vegetarian has come up for me a lot since coming out as a lesbian at 23, and I'm 45 now. So really, it's, you know, that many decades, it's not a phase. But one of the things that made me not